Hey there, and thanks for stopping by to check out my video. We've got an awesome one here in the works. As you can tell, we're out here after dark. I've got a full moon night tonight, so it's making night shooting really easy. A lot of ambient light. The clip-on night vision is working perfect. Actually, it's a really awesome night because we actually were just able to see the giant comet kind of streaking through the sky through the night vision just before it went behind the horizon. So that was a really cool experience. The night vision really magnified that image and made it look really special. But what are we going to do right now? So as you can see, I'm behind my 16-inch 6.5 Creedmoor. I've got a 2/3 Zipstick downrange. We're going to range that, put some rounds on it, and then we're going to swap over to the 16-inch 308 and do the same thing and give you a comparison of how both calibers perform out of a 16-inch DMR style rifle. Now this rifle, we're equipped with the PVS-30 night vision up front and the Impact 4000 rangefinder. And something I noticed that's kind of cool about the Impact 4000, so I just clicked it on. When I try to range my target, if you actually watch, you're going to see a little flash of light on the target when I range. So here we go. So you can see that light flashing just above my crosshair. So I'm getting a range of 596 yards, which is calling for 4.4 mils. So let's go ahead and we're going to hold over. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Here we go. 4.4, 2/3 Zipstick. Essentially no wind. All right, so that went just over his head. I'm going to come down to 4. So this could be a point of impact shift in the PVS-30. Impact. 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 Really quick, I'm going to reset my camera. Oh, just over it. Impact. 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 No problems connecting on that 2/3 Zipstick at 590 with the 6.5 Creedmoor. That was super fun. Now let's run the same course of fire with my 308. I've got 10 rounds loaded up of the 169 SMK. This rifle is equipped with a PVS-27. Now my PVS-27 I know has a point of impact shift, roughly a 1/10 in elevation that I need to come down. And then I thought it was about 0.7 that I needed to come left. I did just fire a couple of confirmation rounds, and now I'm dialed left 1 mil to correct that windage error. But with that, my elevation for 590 is calling for 4.2, which will hold over. And it's worth noting this night force is set to 11 power, which is roughly where I fired the Element Theos on the 6.5. So here we go. Impact. And the light fell off. Believe that. Impact. Impact. So you can see the light is on the ground but still flashing. Just off that right edge. Impact. 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 No problems connecting on a 2/3 Zipstick there at 590 yards. Given the full moonlight and the ambient light I've got out here, let's get crazy. I put my full-size Zipstick down there. I'm at 1,000 yards, and let's see if we can make some impacts after dark. So normally you would see me holding over in the reticle for these shots after dark, but given the field of view and the trigger cam, if I held, say, the 9.9 mils that are required to get out there, it would be out of your field of view. So I went ahead and dialed that into the scope, and we're just going to hold our windage a smidge to the left. So I've got the 9.9 mils dialed in, and I'm going to favor left edge of target. Impact. 1,000 yards after dark. Impact. I believe it's off the right edge. Ooh, just off the left edge. Impact. 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 What a run. 1,000 yards after dark with a 6.5 Creedmoor, and we are hammering that full-size IPSC. Let's try it with the 308. Next up will be the 308 at the 1,005 yard line after dark. And again, because of the field of view in the trigger cam here, I've dialed on my elevation. So this rifle is calling for something like 10.2 mils of elevation. And because of the slight shift in point of impact when I go to a tripod, I've dialed on an extra 3/10. We'll look at that in the video. But from here, let's go ahead and engage that full-size IPSC out there, holding dead on. I'm gonna favor left, say 0.2 to 0.3 for some spin drift. Off the right edge. So let's go like 0.4. Off the right edge. Impact. Off the right edge. Pack. 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 Double tap, 1,005 yards. That's awesome. So I think that's enough to prove the point. That 308's hammering out there at 1,005 yards after dark. That is super fun. Now let's take a close-up look at the gear that I'm using to make these impacts after dark. I'm guessing some of you are probably wondering about the gear that I'm using to make these impacts out here at 590 yards after dark. First up, it's worth noting tonight we have a full moon. We had a beautiful night. We saw the comet earlier, like I mentioned. We have a lot of ambient light. These are ideal conditions for night vision, makes it really easy to shoot under night vision. Most importantly for me though, I need this much light to be able to use the night vision camera to record with some level of decent quality. With regards to the rifles, on the 6.5 Creedmoor here to my right, for a night vision device, we have a PVS-30 clipped on in front of the day optic. That allows me to maintain essentially my same zero on that scope and just slap night vision on as I need it. So PVS-30, you can find those on the used market. That's actually a refurbished unit from Knight's Armament. Ranging after dark with that rifle up top, I have a Vortex Impact 4000 laser rangefinder. I have a review video out there that's a great piece of kit for long range shooting. Something cool that I noticed tonight, actually, when you range with the Impact 4000 through night vision, you actually get a little splash of light downrange at the target. So it allows you to confirm exactly where your rangefinder is pointed and what exactly you're ranging. I guess if you're worried about somebody else with night vision seeing you, that might be a bad thing because it does display light downrange when you use the ranging function. I'll use the Impact 4000 for ranging and for my long range data on that rifle throughout the video. For a level, that's an important tool. I'm using the Shooter's Global Pulse level. That's a new unit. I saw X-Ring did a video recently. Looked like an awesome piece of kit. I knew I had to have one. So far, I'm really impressed. It's going to display a red, blue, or green light to show you rifle cant. When I was shooting earlier, it was on brightness level 3, which is a little bit bright in my face, but I was able to use the app to tone that down to level 1, which is much more manageable. So that's the 6.5 Creedmoor. 308's a little bit of a different setup in that we have a PVS-27 night vision device clipped on up front. As you can see, it's a little bit bigger footprint. It's supposed to gather more light, but on a night like tonight, both of these to me are displaying a very nice image, very usable. This PVS-30 I bought on the used market through one of the forums. On top of this rifle, I have a Wilcox Raptor. This is a full power unit that's going to allow me to range after dark. I zero this to the reticle, point it down range, and range just like the Impact 4000, but this also has IR pointer and illumination in it. Tonight we're not using any IR, but if we were, this would be the IR solution for this rifle. For a level here, I'm also using an electronic level so that I can see it at night. This is the long range arms, I believe that's now MDT, that allows me to adjust the brightness with just a dial there. A couple of other important things that help me when shooting at night would be a Christmas tree style reticle. So with both of these rangefinders, they only range when you're at your zero. So I'm going to leave my scopes at zero and then hold over for night shooting, and that's where a Christmas tree style reticle, I believe, helps out for nighttime shooting. So both of these, the Night Force is running a Trimmer 3, and the Element has their Christmas tree. You'll see me holding over, or you saw me holding over, with both scopes, making those impacts. And the final piece on a night like tonight, to shoot after dark, where there's a lot of ambient light, and this is tan, dry brush, kind of whites out the image, so I paint my target black, makes it a little bit easier to see downrange. So from here, let's move into the rest of the video. I'll give you a deeper look at what both of these rifles are. Okay, I felt like it would make sense to wait until daylight to wrap this video up so that you could get a close-up look at the rifles that I use to make those impacts out to 1,000 yards after dark. For a 6.5 Creedmoor, we're shooting a rifle that I'm really excited about. It's a new one to the channel, and I got to give a shout out to SR25 Cartel for helping me put together what I'm calling my mini M110 and 6.5 Creedmoor. So this build is pretty unique. It's using an SR25 lower from Knight's Armament with a Geisley SDE trigger in it. Now the upper is something that SR25 Cartel, I couldn't have done it without their help. The actual upper receiver is an SR25 Cartel upper receiver with an LMT MWS bolt carrier group. The heart of this, or the barrel, is the SR25 Cartel M110 profile 16-inch 6.5 Creedmoor barrel. It's also dimpled, so it kind of gives it that old school vibe if you're familiar with the dimples from Knight's Armament. And this barrel is going to be 1 and 7.5 inch twist, I believe, or maybe 1 and 7.7, but it's fairly fast, allowing me to shoot the heavy bullets. Gas block on this rifle from SR25 Cartel. This is their double Picatinny gas block to give it that kind of M110 look. And then I'm using an M110 birdcage flash hider from Griffin Armament under the can, and we'll talk about why in just a second. I had to supply the URX2 rail, and then SR25 Cartel put it together into this package. Awesome looking rifle. To me, it gives it that kind of M110 look, while being a 16-inch carbine, short and handy, in a modern caliber like 6.5 Creedmoor is going to allow me to stretch out there and make impacts pretty far out. So I'm really impressed with this rifle. I love shooting it. The suppressor on this to kind of pull the package all together is the Griffin Armament MGL-C, and as you can see, the end of the barrel actually sticks out to about here, so the can reflexes back and the gate latch attaches to the gas block and then indexes off of the M110 style flash hider. So if you want to run a suppressor like this, you've got to have those two components, the M110 flash hider and the gas block with the gate latch divots in it so that you can attach it. So this MGL-C suppressor, Griffin Armament, they've been a supporter of the channel for a long time. They helped me acquire the suppressor, and in my opinion, sounds pretty solid on this rifle, seems to perform quite well. I was interested to see how it would look under night vision compared to this Knight's Armament CRS PRG suppressor. You'll have to let me know in the comments what you thought. I felt like they were very comparable. Optics package on the rifle will be my Element Theos 6-36 rifle scope. Have to give a shout out to Utah Air Guns for sending that out to me. Prior to them reaching out, I'd never heard of the Element Theos, so when I got the scope, I really wasn't sure what to expect. This is a high dollar optic, pushing $3,000. But in my experience, now that I've had this thing probably going on 6 to 8 months now, this is a quality optic. It's got really nice glass in it, tracks really well. I really like the illumination. I should have used it in the night footage. I didn't realize it until afterward, but the way that reticle illuminates is beautiful behind a clip-on. So really impressed with the Element Theos 6-36. You'll notice it's higher power than the Night Force, so in this nighttime footage it really didn't matter because those clip-ons really you can only use about 10 to 12 power, or at least with mine. So really no advantage to the extra magnification in this optic. We're mounted in a Griffin Armament single piece mount with a diving board to run my Impact 4000 that I use for ranging and ballistic data on this rifle. Bullets on this rifle were a Berger 144 hybrid. So that 144 hybrid has a pretty high BC, and the SR25 Cartel crew told me that these barrels shoot those really well. So if you're curious how this rifle shoots, check out my dedicated review video where I run these rifles side by side out to 1,200 yards. You'll get a look at performance on paper at 100 yards, as well as how it pushes out to 1,250. As far as a nighttime performance, this thing is super easy to shoot. Light recoil allowed me to stay on target, spot my impacts. There was enough splash from that 6.5 Creedmoor that I could correct and get on the plate if I missed. So really excited about this rifle. It's a beautiful shooter. If you're curious about the tripod, this was the 2 Vets Recon with the inverted legs. For the 308 that we ran in the video, this is my old school SR25 ECC from Knight's Armament. Factory rifle. I got this back in about 2014 or 2015. Love this rifle. It was my first SR25, and it's just a blast to shoot. It's using the Knight's Armament CRS. I believe it's either PRG or PRT suppressor, but that's their new reduced back pressure 30 caliber can, so it's similar to the Griffin in that it vents out the front. Again, curious to see or hear what you thought about the flash performance under night vision, because to me, kind of felt like a wash. They both seem to do pretty well with regards to flash, I felt like. Also running the SDE trigger. Optics package will be the Nightforce 5-25 Attacker F1 with a Trimmer 3 reticle. You'll notice they both are running those Christmas tree style reticles that I mentioned in the video I love to shoot at night. For an IR solution and ranging, I'm equipped with my Wilcox Raptor. We didn't really use it in the video because of that bright moon night. There was no need for IR light. I was able to see no problem. But if it was a lower night, something like that Raptor would allow me to range and put IR light downrange to see better and make my impacts. Tripod on this rifle, a little bit different. This is my Ultradyne carbon tripod, and I really like this tripod because the head allows me to adapt to either Picatinny or Arca without an adapter. Something like this Area 419 on the 2 Vets does require an adapter to go from Picatinny to the Arca. So the bullet I was running in the 308, the last piece of the puzzle here, is the 169 SMK from Sierra. So if you've been around the channel, you know Sierra is a supporter of the channel now. They're helping me create content by providing bullets and ammo for me to shoot. And in this rifle, I'm running that SMK 169 grade, and I tell you what, that thing is an absolute game changer. If you're curious about how this thing's going to perform out to 1,250 yards, 16-inch 308, check out the dedicated review video, again, where I shot these side by side. I think you'd be really impressed with the performance of this rifle with the 169 SMK. Now this video, a little bit different format, probably than you're used to from me. I originally actually filmed this nighttime footage with the intent of putting it into the dedicated video where I shot these side by side, but after editing the footage and watching it, I realized I needed to split it out into its own video for a couple of reasons. One being, when you put the clip-ons on the rifle, there is a slight point of impact shift, and I didn't feel like it was fair to compare drop data on the 2 rifles when I wasn't 100% confident in my zero. So if you don't know your true zero before you stretch out to distance, there could be a couple of tenths difference there that's a result of the clip-ons and not truly the rifle. So that was the biggest reason I decided to split this out. The other reason is I felt like it'd be cool to just create a video showing nighttime content and what's possible with DMR style rifles like this. These are both 16-inch rifles, and with the proper gear setup you saw on a moonlight night, a high moonlight night, we were able to hit targets out to 1,000 yards. That is just absolutely crazy to me. I figured my audience would enjoy the footage. You gotta let me know what you thought in the comments down below. I'd love to chat with you about it. If you want to see more nighttime content, let me know. I really enjoy making it, especially now that the days are getting shorter. There's more nighttime, so it makes sense to shoot more at night. If you want to see more nighttime footage, let me know. If you have anything that you're curious about my nighttime content or my nighttime setups, let me know. I'd love to chat about it with you down below. Now with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would, I'd like to ask you to help me grow this channel. My channel's seen a ton of growth recently, and I appreciate each and every one of you that are supporting the channel. Ways you can do that are pretty simple. One easy way, if you haven't already watched the dedicated review video of these 2 rifles side by side, check that out. That's going to give you a look at how a 16-inch 6.5 Creedmoor is going to perform versus a 16-inch 308 out to 1,250 yards. And again, I think you're going to be surprised at the performance of this 308. That's an easy way. Check out my videos. Like them, comment, interact down below. I love having those conversations with you. The most impactful way is subscribe. If you subscribe to my channel, that's going to put you in line for my next video drop. It's also going to signal to YouTube that you like my content and want to see more. I'm on a path to get to 100,000 subscribers, and each one of you that click that subscribe button, I appreciate it. That's going to help me get closer to that goal. Finally, if you made it this far, I appreciate you sticking around. Let me know in the comments what you thought, and I hope you'll join me in my next video.